Hello, I'm Jason Skoby, the director and creator of Ghostbustin 911,
And I'm Cory Deveney, editor and co-producer of GHOSTBUSTIN 911.
and we're going to give you some director's commentaries.
So here we go, starting with episode 1. And now, Jason, you've been working on this project long before I met you guys.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we shot this scene back in 2005, I believe. It was pretty much before we had a direction where we were going with the program. We were just going to put a couple little skits together and put out on the internet, but next thing, one thing led to another, and we had a huge cast and crew and everybody interested in the idea, so we decided to make a multi-episode series out of this.
Yeah, and it just one thing after another just snowballed up to a point where we decided to actually make a whole series.
Yep.
With it. I met you guys in 2007, and you guys were in kind of full swing, but nobody was named yet. You didn't have characters. Ron, Vince, Strong, none of those guys existed. It was just the actors, Ryan and Kenny, playing ambiguous Ghostbusters.
Right. And I don't know why, but for some reason the show evolved where almost everybody had an Irish name.
True.
Even this police officer, Henry McDonald.
Right.
Is that Irish? Or?
His friend Gary O'Grady.
Yeah.
And these are all names that all wasn't planned. We just picked that. I just drew from a hat pretty much, metaphorically. Now these cars here, these police cars, aren't actual squad cars. Jason, why don't you tell people how you did these?
Ryan, who plays Rico Bailey, owns this blue car to the right. It's just an X-Squad car. And I owned a blue Chevy Caprice that looked like a cop car.
And that was the one he was driving.
Yep. So we just added some light bars and some basic graphics to the car, including some push bumpers, too, that I made out of cardboard. But you really can't tell on film that it's not a squad car. In fact, we were getting some looks from people.
Yeah.
Those don't look like normal police guys.
Probably people slowing down if you were driving. A kid named Peter Rabble did this giant ghost head effect for us, and he was just, I think at that time he was like a senior in high school, and he was going on to college. So he did a couple effects for us at the beginning, and we really loved his work, but he had to go to college and couldn't do it anymore.
And you remember when we were putting that scene together that originally we weren't going to have the big head. It was just, actually it was Ryan dressed up in a black cloak.
Like a Halloween costume.
And a skeleton face, and just throws an arm at the cameraman.
Right.
So we thought that just looked way too cheesy, so... Fortunately for us, we met Peter, and he was able to whip out that sweet ghost head thingy.
That's another Peter effect there, that ghost over Ryan's head that flies away.
Yep. And there's the Ecto 1C in the background. That's
Jason's
built
car.
off of a 1991 Chevy Caprice wagon. That was an accident, really. I really was looking for something different to do for Halloween, and I owned that wagon for years. So I just figured make a good Ghostbuster car.
And in the years that I've known you, Jason, he doesn't do anything half-assed. He goes all out. It's all or nothing with Jason. So if he's going to be a Ghostbuster for Halloween, it's not going to be just him wearing, Dickies coveralls and a, backpack or a vacuum. He's going to make it movie accurate, and then he's going to go the next step, and there's going to be 3 other friends to make the full team. There's going to be a car. And then eventually we found this awesome firehouse that you saw in the beginning there of this scene, the outside of the firehouse. That's an actual firehouse right across the street from the Minnesota State Fairgrounds. That's no longer in service. It's, it was just...
It's used as a storage facility for a local retirement home. So they just parked their lawnmowers and stuff in there, and we just walked up to the director and asked if we can film there.
Yep. It was perfect. It was a one-stall firehouse just like the one they used in the movie.
You know what? This is going to be fun doing the director's commentaries because I'm also going to point out some things to the viewer that they may or may not have noticed in the background. For instance,
True.
look carefully down at the bottom. between Vincent and Armstrong.
That little blinking.
Nope. Do you
Thing,
notice a zombie ammo
Ah, right.
sitting on the
There.
floor? Yep.
Yeah.
There's a zombie ammo box.
There's a Taco Time bag right there.
Well, the zombie ammo box for the viewers out there, it becomes a new item to the Ghostbusters headquarters in the next few scenes.
True.
Those boxes aren't supposed to be there yet.
Oh, that's
But
true.
we shot this after the fact and didn't think about it.
That's true. Right. And Zombie Ammo is a couple friends of ours. Marshall Johnson is kind of the primary guy behind it. They create zombie targets and these fake ammo boxes for gun ranges and police gun ranges and stuff. So they have fun targets to shoot at.
Yeah, they just came up with a new concept. Instead of just shooting, black silhouetted people out on the target, they got a selection of fun, different, full-size zombie images that you can shoot at.
Really
and then the
good
zombie
looking
ammo
ones.
boxes are really just a novelty item where you store your ammo in it and bring it to the gun range and pull out your zombie ammo box. It's usually a conversation starter with
Yeah.
shooters like, zombie ammo, what the hell is that?
Yeah, just to be funny when you go to the gun range.
Yep. And they have a whole host of
Because
other
funny and
things,
guns go so well together.
They have ghost ammo, zombie ammo, monster ammo. He has a whole line of
Sci-fi ammo. He's got like aliens. What I like is he's got the zombie that you shoot at, and then they put a brain up in the corner as like a bonus target. And everything. And you'll see more of zombie ammo throughout the series because we decided, why don't you guys just become a fake sponsor for our fake reality show?
Yeah, and now hindsight, I'm wondering if we should have made him a real sponsor because now zombie ammo targets are available at almost every gun range across the country. As a matter of fact, one of them showed up in an episode of CSI Las Vegas where they were investigating at a gun range and there was a girl shooting at a zombie ammo target.
Yep.
It's like, hey,
I think they got that clip on their
so
website.
you'll see the creator of him in one of our upcoming commercials here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that when we originally started shooting this series was we wanted to do stories about like urban legends or well-known ghost stories, and
Like campfire stories and things.
yeah, and we basically bring them to life as the Twin Cities Ghostbusters investigates these stories. And one of the most popular stories out there is the urban legend of somebody who picks up a hitchhiker and brings the hitchhiker to an address, and when he turns around, the hitchhiker's gone.
Yeah.
And
Or like the
only to
call was
find
coming
out-
inside the house.
Only to find out later that that hitchhiker was a ghost. And so what we did is we wrote a scene around that original idea where the Twin Cities Ghostbusters try to duplicate everything as close to possible to when he experienced the Phantom. And Ghostbusters probably should have thrown a little more caution because, well, you'll see coming up here, they get in a little bit of trouble while using somebody else's vehicle.
And this actor who plays the guy who called the Ghostbusters in here, the driver of the vehicle here, is the same actor who played the cop that you saw in the very first scene. And we thought, well, we'll blur out his face, which was we loved doing because there was another element of Cops that we got to bring in there where
We wanted it to look and feel like you're watching an episode of Cops.
Right. So they always blur a perp's face out sometimes. So we thought, it's perfect, and then we don't duplicate that actor.
Yeah, but our viewers are a lot smarter than I thought because
They
most
knew
of
right
them
away.
say, "Oh, that sounds like the cop from the first episode."
Yep.
First scene.
Hi there. How you doing tonight?
And we had a really crappy camera light, so this thing didn't turn out as fantastic as I hoped it would be. But really, the funny at the end made the whole thing.
And in some respects, though, too, that kind of plays to the reality TV show style that we're going for,
Right.
This is
Now, the Phantom quote sitting to the right of Armstrong is a local actress by the name of Heather Amos.
Yep.
Very talented, very sweet girl. And
Sadly underused right here. She's just staring.
yeah. After getting to know her, I figured we should have used her a little more in the show.
Yeah.
But once again, you meet strangers when you're shooting sets. You know, we don't do auditioning.
Right.
We're
Yeah.
so amateur that we're just like, yeah, you act, okay, well, here's a script, show up on this date.
Right.
So if we did a little more research, we found out how talented she was, and we probably could have given her a lot more lines, a lot more dramatic, but...
Well, we'll be doing other things too, and we'll always call on these people that we met because they did a great job for us in this project, and we'll expand on them in the next projects. Or maybe we could even bring her character back somehow, but...
Actually, we are bringing her character back.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, an upcoming scene in episode 7 or episode 8, I'm not exactly sure at this point, but we're going to do a scene where the Ghostbusters have a company picnic. And so everybody must bring their significant others. I'm not going to give it away.
Right.
But you'll see some characters returning.
This effect was really hard to do. I'm the one who did this trap effect here. And first of all, the software I'm using is FX Home Vision Lab Studio, which is really limited in what it can do. It's kind of like a knockoff of After Effects, and it doesn't really have all the bells and whistles that does. But I was trying to figure out how would a trap open inside a confined space like a car, and it would just wash everything out, So did the best I could.
We tried to apply some physics to our special effects.
Right.
Now, the guy who played the police officer in the opening shot of the TV show, that he's was a local actor by the name of Brett Stoltz.
Uh-huh.
And that guy is hilarious.
Yeah, he moved away.
He moved away to move on to bigger and better projects, so it's a little hard to get him back to shoot some more things. But for all the viewers out there, if you get a chance, look up the movie Health Freaks. He plays a significant role in there, and
I saw bits of that.
Funniest, his bit that he did in that movie was the funniest thing I have ever seen in my entire life. I was laughing so hard, I almost had a heart attack.
One thing too we should probably point out here is this is before this is Kenny. He wasn't even strong yet. That Ryan was still Ryan and not Ron yet, or Rico. So the name tags they're wearing are the name tags that Jason got for Halloween, which are just the characters from the movie. And unfortunately, the lady that he ordered them from, they were misspelled. So
and I picked them up Halloween day.
Yeah.
Right before we went out, and I'm like, oh crap, they're misspelled.
The only one that was spelled right was Venkman. But so a couple of people noticed that and said, hey, why are they wearing those name tags and why are they misspelled? And we were like, well, that's what we had. So.
Now this commercial had led to a lot of confusion to some audience members. They're like, what the blank?
Right.
And I want to explain a little further. When we were trying to do this TV series, we wanted it to make it look like a real television show, complete with commercials. Well, when we were putting together episode 1, we actually didn't shoot any commercials for it, but we had some friends that had done some parody commercials. So we asked them if we could borrow some of their commercials and stick them in, just to break up the action and make it feel more like a real television show.
And this was a commercial that I actually was a stagehand on. I was shooting all this stuff. I didn't shoot any with this guy. It was shot at a later date. But with this girl here in the apartment, stalking him, I was a crew member there. It was shot by a friend of ours named Brian Forrest, who later did some work for us as a guest director for another scene coming up in episode 5. But he was a director and co-creator of a show I worked on called Drinking with Ian, which is the second commercial break you'll see in here is a commercial for Drinking with Ian's first DVD set. And yeah, he was our first commercial in here because we love it looks like an actual commercial, like a TV production quality. So, but it did throw a lot of people because suddenly Ghostbusters went to that and they were like, what?
Yep, exactly. It's like the audience forgot that they're watching a show, and then they were interrupted so rudely with this commercial break.
Right.
Only to find out that it really wasn't a commercial for
it's a stalking service.
Website.
Stalker Life. Now this is this haunted house here is actually at Pine Haven, right? Was that Pine Haven haunted hay rides?
No.
No?
No, we shot this at a place out near Stillwater called Country Sun Farms. And every year for fall and Halloween, they put together like a big hoopla, and complete with a big fake haunted house. And I saw that house from the freeway once when I was driving by, and I thought, that looks like a Scooby-Doo haunted house, like your stereotypical.
It totally did.
Boom, I had this idea. What if the Ghostbusters ran into the mystery gang?
Right.
And I searched everywhere for somebody who had a mystery machine van. And turns out, a guy who owns the one we used in this shot lives only 3 blocks away from me. So
the whole time.
The whole time he was
right in his backyard.
my backyard. So I got the Ghostbuster car in my backyard and the mystery machine in his backyard.
And that was pre-Tyler. That's me, is Shaggy there. Like, hey, Scoob!
I just wish the lights were brighter so that we could see this van.
It's such an awesome
the van.
van.
Looks just like it.
Yeah, it's so detailed, the paint job.
Yep, brilliant and colorful, but no, it didn't show up so well in this night shot.
Maybe we should bring the Scooby-Doo gang back.
Yeah.
We can do split screen with Tyler meeting me as Shaggy again.
Well, that would be a fun shot.
Yeah.
And right there on the left is Brian Gruber.
That's
That's
your
my
brother-in-law. Yeah.
And back when we were shooting some of this stuff, he was traveling the world, so it was really hard to get him into town. But whenever he was in town, we would just go out and shoot a whole bunch of things with him, because I wanted him to be a reoccurring character later on.
And I think he's underused in our show. I really like what he does and
Yeah.
comes up with. He's pretty funny.
Yeah, I love his dry sense of humor.
Right. It works well for the show. This
Yeah.
is the Drinking with Ian commercial. And there's Ian. And this is one of the 2 shows I credit to I've been working on that led me to meeting my wife, Jen.
Oh, yeah.
This and Ghostbustin 911.
Is that guy ever without that hat?
Who's that?
Dave?
Dave? Oh, yeah. He wears,
Dave
yeah.
actually
he's-
helped us out on a couple other
That's
scenes,
Dave
too.
right there.
Dave Underhill.
Yep.
He's a lighting guy, a genius lighting guy.
And I met him
Takes
working
his
on Drinking with
lighting
Ian.
seriously. So when we asked him to give us a hand with a couple shots, I think he was a little disappointed of how bad our lighting actually is.
Because it's reality
It's a
TV
reality
style.
show. We can't set up, cinema quality lights all over the town. Mm-hmm. I mean, that would cost a fortune and take weeks, but
when we shot,
we just made him the cameraman.
right, and when we shot on the inside of the firehouse, where you see the garage, and the guys at a meeting in a later episode, that was a full day shoot we set up there. We shot a few different things there, and Dave did a phenomenal job setting up lights there. He actually brought his production van and
Yeah.
with all the equipment, and
Yep.
did a great job.
Oh, I loved shooting this scene.
This
This place that we shot at was really creepy in the basement.
This is actually the basement of that church you saw them pull up at. It's the Minneapolis Basilica. Right?
No.
This isn't the basement of that church?
No, it's a whole nother church.
Oh,
We didn't get permission, so we can't say it.
forget what I just said.
Although I doubt there'll be any parishioners who will see this video.
True.
And if you did, statute of limitations is up. This was shot 7 years ago, so
Right.
kiss my behind.
I'll bleep it too.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to do guerrilla filmmaking and just take what you can get, regardless of permissions. The thing is, though, we did have permission to be there, but we just didn't get it in writing.
And you really wanted this because this looks like Freddy Krueger's boiler room. You know,
Yeah.
this place looks creepy. And
Yep. And
There's
the
this
tunnel that
tunnel,
connected
yeah.
the 2 buildings
right
together.
here.
You know, if anybody had just a slight bit of claustrophobia, this would really scare the pants off of you.
I get claustrophobic watching this.
Halfway down the tunnel, the lights go out. Ah, yes.
Now this was the security guard, wasn't it, that led them
The guy
downstairs?
that brought them into the church.
He dressed up in a zombie outfit
Put that
here.
generic zombie costume that you see everywhere.
Yeah.
In fact, you can see a quick clip of that in our Monster Cops commercial that we insert in episode 2.
Yep.
A zombie crawling out of the grave.
And that's
Yeah,
somebody
it's the
else.
same
That's not our costume. They have the same thing and put it in their show. And that's actually what you wore to the zombie pub crawl one year.
Oh, yeah. And you know what was odd about that is that was one of the best costumes out there. People were giving me compliments left and right.
Yeah, and
Like, really? This is just something I bought on clearance the day after Halloween for like $20.
yeah, and all it is like, it's got like rotted hands and stuff, but they're just gloves,
Yeah.
and then like bones sticking through your pants, but they're just pants,
It didn't have a hole in the mouth for beer, so I cut one.
That was the voice of Jason's wife, actually, Rhonda, who played kind of like our secretary for that day, just with her voice.
Yeah, Ghostbusters go through a lot of secretaries. You'll notice different people playing secretaries.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
And one thing I just realized as I made that statement is all of our secretaries are females.
Oh, yeah.
We are not an equal opportunity employer, are we?
Wow, no, we're not. Actually, we're not even an actual company, so
You
it
know
doesn't
what?
matter.
We should bring some people back to be secretary. Would it be
Yeah.
funny if Lucy Lips was secretary for a while?
Same criminal keep releasing.
Well, I had that idea where...
Whoa. Now this is freaky.
What?
Well, look at where Chris is sitting.
Yeah?
That's the bottom edge of the screen we're watching.
Oh, yeah, that's our... we're actually sitting in our basement set.
No, this is the firehouse basement set with a big screen in it.
It's just Jason's basement in his own house. And Jason built the containment unit. At this point, when we shot this, the containment unit wall wasn't built. It was just this lab that Jason has off to the side. It's kind of like one of his workshop areas. Yep.
It's right there. Yep.
Yeah. But we didn't have the containment unit wall built for the first couple episodes, so we just avoided shooting that wall. And this is a friend of ours, Chris Borinato, we call him Bordo, and he played the cop that busted him, and that's what Kenny's discovering now. But we wanted it, yeah, there he is.
Yep.
We wanted it to be, it's 25 years later, the original movie actually happened, and that's why one of the rules, we treat the original movie like it was real, and one of our rules in shooting this is no quoting the movie. We didn't want to be one of those fan films that pays homage, and I heard one Ghostbuster fan call those homage fests and everything.
Yeah.
Because they quote the movie left and right. And
Right. A lot of fan films I saw quote way too much from the movie, but they're not doing what we're doing.
exactly,
Their
it's a
films
different
are-
thing, so it
their
works for
films
them.
are awesome.
Right.
But what we're doing is we're just trying to show like a day in the life of what would have happened if what happened in New York was the beginning of a huge franchise operation, and this 25 years later, how a Ghostbusters franchise would operate in a real life,
Right.
post 9/11 world, Department of Homeland Security,
Yeah,
nuclear
how they'd-
equipment, and
They'd be close with the government because they run around with nuclear packs.
Yep, and so there's like a central headquarters, a central office in New York that runs everything.
Headed by Vinkman, Spangler, Zeddemore, and Stantz.
Yep.
And so our rule was, and that works for other people's fan films because they're doing a fan film, and of course you want to pay homage to your source
I
material.
know, and it's
but-
funny watching how they use a line in a different context.
Right, yeah. And get a laugh from that line in the movie.
We've also been criticized for not quoting the movie.
Right.
And I have to explain, I'm like, look, this is its own thing. We have our own characters.
It's a reality show,
It's a fake reality show set 25 years later.
Right. Treating the movie like it actually happened, the first
Right.
two movies. And even Ryan right there, he's one of our big writers. He writes a lot of stuff for us, and we've even kind of headbutted him a little bit when he's throwing a movie quote. How about we say this? And we're like, that's from the movie. We don't quote the movie. He's like, oh, dang it, that's right. So,
Yeah, and the funny thing about Ryan is you're looking at him as he is. And
he's not playing a character. That's
he
right.
sounds and he looks like Egot. So it was perfect for going out on Halloween that first year where I was Venkman, he was Egon, you know. It was perfect, but now it's kind of trickled into the show, and a lot of people think that he's the Egon,
like he's playing a character.
Egon somehow. Like, no, that's Ron Rico Bailey, and he's not Egon.
And I really have to say, too, you know, of course I'm tooting our own horn here. I'm really proud of the work that we've done. But I have to say, Ryan is one of my favorites in our show. I mean, he's got such a dry sense of humor, and his delivery can be so surprising because that's just how he is. He's just, you know, I'm sure Ryan will hear this, but I'm just going to say it. He's a little goofy.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And, but it works beautifully for this because you don't expect some of the things he says to come out of him. And they're hilarious.
His car was in the background there.
Whose car?
Ron's Crown Victoria.
Oh.
Ron's Crown Victoria.
Oh, yep, right behind the Ghostbuster car. That was the cop car in the opening scene.
Yep. Tobin Spirit Guide for Dummies.
It's decopped now, but yeah.
The Minneapolis hosts this pub crawl every year. Where people
zombie pub
dress
crawl.
up as zombies and they go walking from bar to bar. And I was thinking, how can I use 500 extras
We want
at the
a
show?
zombie outbreak.
We've become kind of opportunists with this show. Now, if something's going on, we'll figure out a way how to use it in the show in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
And so I was brainstorming with the guys, like, how can we use 500 zombies in our show? And they're like, well, let's do a zombie outbreak. And, you know, as the ideas kept flowing, it became like this apocalyptic zombies running after the Ghostbusters and tearing up their equipment. And it's like, well, look, they're here to drink beer.
Let's
We gotta
just have
keep
them
it
kill the
short and
cameraman.
Sweet. Why don't we have the cameraman die? And the Ghostbusters don't realize that they're zombies. This is a new phenomenon.
Right. Yeah, we got criticized before for the guys running away from the zombie in the church tunnel.
Yeah.
The scene before that. But really, it's not a ghost.
Yeah.
The guys aren't going to blast it and everything. You know, so what would they do? What do you do? I mean, they've never seen this or encountered it.
Or the theme, I ain't afraid of no ghosts, but nobody said anything about mine.
Right, zombies, yeah. But the way we shoot this is we come up with like a base idea, and then maybe we write a skeleton script around it, but it's all ad-libbed.
Yeah.
And
rarely do you see the actors actually reading off of the script.
right, we
Just
just
put out
have
an outline. I want this to happen, that to happen. The funny is here, so let's just build up to that point.
right. We just
That's
have
what
a bunch of
everybody does.
points we know we need to hit, and a bunch of beats we know we need to get to. So we just bridge the gap
And that's what
between
makes
those.
Ryan so good, because the stuff he just comes up with is out of left field, and it's hilarious.
Right. So that was episode one.
1. I hope you enjoyed it and enjoyed what we had to BS about. We're going to move on to episode 2 now, so stick around and watch episode 2.